A commonality between many of us that denounce and decolonize from religion is that we were deep into the faith. I'm talking all in, faithful churchgoers, dedicated to living for Christ. It was our sincerity, commitment, and passion to draw closer to this Christian God that actually ended up turning us away. Because from reading our Bibles and reflecting upon our experiences, we came to realize that he was not this good, great God that others claimed he was. This was the case for James Baldwin too. He starts off the second part of this book by telling us about the religious crisis he went through. He's very aware of how this world is set up and how its intent is for him to perish in the ghettos. So out of fear and despair, he takes refuge in religion and turns to God for safety. He has this friend that introduces him to a pastor, and he says that the pastor reminds him of the pimps and racketeers that hang out on the avenue. And I felt that real bad because pastors remind me of pimps too. Nevertheless, he starts going to this church. One day he was at a service and he said he felt so overwhelmed with guilt and the fear of the world that he fell out at the altar screaming and crying. He was having a mental breakdown, and during this mental breakdown he wondered, if God is so great and if he loves all of his children, then why are blacks cast down so far? He came to the realization that God is white. While all of this is going on inside of him, the people around him are happy. They are rejoicing because they believe that what just happened was he caught the Holy Spirit. And when it's all over, they tell him that he is now saved. He continues to go to this church, and eventually he even became a youth pastor. But his faith began to crumble once he started reading again. He goes on to say that being in a pulpit was like being in a theater. He was behind the scenes and he knew how the illusions worked. He knew how to work on a congregation until the last dime was surrendered. And he knew where the money for the Lord went. I mean, but don't we all? Preaching is a hustle, a very lucrative one at that. As Baldwin puts it, the minister acquires houses and Cadillacs while the faithful continue to scrub floors and put their dimes, quarters, and dollars into the plate. James Baldwin said it got to a point where it took all of his strength not to tell people to throw away their Bibles, get off their knees, go home, and go organize a rent strike. Crazy how relevant that is to this very day. Look who's recording with mommy.